Shalom, giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwadash, and that's double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, that teach us the truth in the spirit and power, in the names of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. All right, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwadash, peace, love, and blessings unto the elect out there scattered abroad around the four corners of the earth, mainly in Babylon and Great America, which is the main deliverance coming out of this place according to prophecy, according to the scriptures. All right, basically this is a lesson through the spirit going into at the end is nigh. All right, judgment day is fastly approaching, whether people want to believe it or not, and that's why all these things are happening in the world that most people can't comprehend, they don't understand or anything like that, because ultimately they trust in this place. All right, they can't see nothing else other than Babylon the Great, especially our people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. All right, they love this place more than the so-called Caucasian white race, Esau Edom, which is their true nationality. And the reason I say that, because you have even Esau Edom noticing the downfall of their beloved country, as they would say, and also, these preppers are preparing for the worst, even though it's on a carnal means and a carnal aspect, but they do know and see that something is going on in the world. But, our people still want to, have fun, live it up, enjoy life, and lately I seen what been going on with the bike week situation down there in Myrtle Beach, total vain, just degeneracy, man. All right, at the end of the day, especially, coming from our people, they don't take nothing serious until basically all hell breaks loose, and then it's going to be too late. And there's countless of scriptures on that, how during the time of repentance, the time of them to come back unto the Lord, they rejected the Lord. Ultimately, the Lord rejected them because he gave them that spirit of being a non-believer. All right, he gave them that spirit, the spiritual eyes that they can't see and the spiritual ears that they can't hear, that ultimately Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah is speaking to them through the prophets. All right, the true prophets, which are the men of Great Millstone, whether people believe it or not, because otherwise you got Hakah on the side going after the whole one West camp doctrine, but meanwhile still keeping some of the doctrines that they want to keep. All right, like I said, man, those individuals, that's how individuals like that, they're very emotional about something, and they just want clout. But enough said. I just want to get into prophecies and what's going on in the world. All right, because you got, as brothers was going into certain videos about polycrisis. Okay, and matter of fact, I'm gonna go into it, the recent, and don't mind the little folly I be watching, but it's still educational, especially dealing with our people being, niggas, man. All right. And, just that death culture. It was the video that the young elder Canuck out of his original, I believe, is GMS San Francisco, but you can watch his videos or whatever, and it says, "Woe to you that trust in America and uproars of the people." All right, and it's spiritual, because no matter what, people still believe and trust in Babylon the Great, no matter what. All right, no matter what lies they've been taught. All right, even though deep down inside, no matter what President DJ Trump do. They still hope for another presidency, thinking that it's going to get better. And in all actuality, it's not, because at the end of the day, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai set up these heathens to be unruly rulers, man. All right, to be wicked rulers on the planet Earth, ultimately because of our disobedience. This is punishment. People don't understand that. This is true punishment, that we're living at the way that we're living paycheck to paycheck. People are, homeless, especially, well, not even our people like that. It's mainly, well, if it is our people, it's the mainly the so-called black woman. But dealing with these Edomites, all right, they're being homeless. Meanwhile, got full-time jobs, working, can be a manager, so on and so forth. But because of the cost of living being so high, they can't keep up. It's a lot here. All right, so you got all types of troubles, calamities, destructions that's going on in the planet Earth. And ultimately, it's because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is about to visit the world, which he made according to the scriptures, 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. All right. And, you can also look at the video, The Struggle Continues, take 127, The Hopeful Elect 3. All right, basically different videos of people, hey, just catching hell, man. All right. And the brother Kamak had did just another video about the poly crisis and people ready to check out, because at the end of the day, people are fed up, but they don't have no hope or no trust in nothing else but on what they know or what they think they know. And that's here living in Babylon, the Great America. All right. So a lot of things are going on. And then you even got said why every empire falls in 250 years. And we're about to reach the anniversary, Salakia, of Babylon, the Great America, 250 years coming up July 4 via 2026. And it's so spiritual because around the July time frame, it says California to run out of gas in 6 weeks. That's another good video to watch. And like I said, these people know, a lot of people know that this is a so-called inside job. All right, that everything is being orchestrated by the elites. All right, the top 1%ers, the ones that rule the current world today. All right, but they don't have that spiritual understanding through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. They really, truly don't know what's going on. And we know that the Lord is about to visit this world. He's about to bring judgment. It's about to be judgment day sooner or later. All right, we're living in the end times, the very, very end times of Bible prophecy. All right, the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, which is going to be everybody's trouble, including Esau. All right, and you Americans, you're gonna realize that your precious government and your precious America never loved you. All right. And the main reason why this place was established, well, one of the reasons, all right, to have you people in straight la-la land, straight derision, delusional, having you in that delusional state of mind, thinking that this place is a good place to be, all right, to raise families, to prosper. Now you're feeling that squeeze that at the end of the day, this shit is about to hit a default. All right. The economic collapse is going to happen very soon. All right, because of all these events that's happening. Like I said, you got the poly crisis. Every time you turn around, it's a shooting. It was another shooting dealing with the White House. All right. And also they trying to make, Jake the face of terrorism. All right. Ultimately, so that persecution can fall upon us. And it's all through, the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And like I said, us of the humble, fearful elect, we understand. And our hope is in the Lord through his only begotten Son. Okay. But like I said, I advise, brothers to watch these two videos, a GMS dedication, woe to you that trust in America, uproars of the people, because you got something going on in Africa. All right. Oh, you also got pestilence. Okay. Yeah, man. Polycrisis, and the people are ready to check out. Okay. So all these things are happening for a reason, because of prophecy. And you people can't change that. You can't fix it. All you can do is just roll with the punches, man. And, ultimately repent, return unto the Lord. But we know that that's only going to be the elect that's going to return into the mighty power. All right, pursuing the Isaiah, the 10th chapter, and verse 20 and 21. Let me get that right quick. I should have it in my Bible, even though my Bible ripped up and stuff, but still. Okay. Is Isaiah 10 and 20 on KJV. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but they shall stay upon the Holy One of Israel in truth. All right. And no more we're going to depend on our oppressors. All right. We're not going to depend on the heathens anymore. All right, which in our people mind, they think that they're their allies. They think, especially when it comes down to the so-called white man, they really think that these people are for our benefits. All right. But in all actuality, this nation of people hates us. All right, no matter what. And Lord will, I do another video on that, dealing with the exposure of Esau Edom and the hatred that he has towards Jake. That perpetual hatred. And that's what people don't realize. All right. Out of all the things that happen in history, you still have a problem, or you have a problem to think that all Edomites are racist. All right. But the lineage has to go back to Esau Edom. All right. And we do understand that we have confusions of faces. We have Israelites that look like the other nations and so on and so forth. But you have to realize the mind state of Esau Edom. They are the wicked. They were created to be the wicked, and they will always have that perpetual hatred towards Jacob until the very end, until they be, erased. All right, ultimately. And when we get back on top, NLT, in that day, the remnant left in Israel, the survivors in the house of Jacob, will no longer depend on allies who seek to destroy them. All right. Basically, we're not going to be trusting in oppression. We're going to, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, through the spirit, liberate ourselves. And it's all through the grace of the Lord, ultimately. All right. Because if it wasn't for the Lord putting that spirit upon the earth to ultimately to rebel against the enemies, all right, to bring us back into our heritage, all right, our customs, our identity. If it wasn't for Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, we would be lost just like the rest of the nation of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, who seek to destroy them, but they will faithfully trust the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel. It says a remnant will return, verse 21, NLT. A remnant will return. Yes, the remnant of Jacob will return to the mighty power. But though the people of Israel are as numerous as the sand of the seashore, only a remnant of them will return. The Lord Yahweh has rightly decided to destroy his people. Hey, he rightly decided to destroy the 2/3, man. All right, but not the 144,000 to 1/3, which all consist of the remnant, the elect. All right, those are the ones that return unto him. That's why it's important to come back into the Lord before the evil days draw nigh. All right, remember thy creator, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 1. All right, we have to remember the creator in the days of thy youth before the evil days draw nigh. And going all the way also to Proverbs, the first chapter, verse 20 on down. All right, it goes into how certain, the 2/3 of our people are not going to return unto the Lord. All right, and when all hell breaks loose, that's when they're going to try, but the Lord is going to reject them. And that's going to be a terrible sight, especially in the day of great calamities and destruction. Okay. Is Joel chapter 2 and verse 1, NLT. Sound the trumpet in Jerusalem, raise the alarm on my holy mountain. Let everyone tremble in fear, because the day of the Lord is upon us. The day of the Lord Yahweh is upon us. All right, the day of the Lord is coming. That's why we're seeing all the beginnings of sorrows. That's why this place is not going to get better. It's only going to get worse, worse, and worse through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, because it was written and destined for this place to go down. All right, for this place to be destroyed. And go back. It was another thing. Even dealing with the AI data centers, you got that going on. You got uproars of the people. Everything is collapsing, man. So get prepared. Hey, you see it. Hey, a picture is worth a 1,000 words, man. And this is coming to a future near us. But the only difference between us being the hopeful, fearful elect, we have a chance. All right, we have a chance, man. There is hope. You see it sooner than you think, the future. All right, that's why they're building all these data centers. All right, you got uproars of the people all over the world, all over the earth. All right. This is all Bible prophecies. Yep, the B system and a look at China's social credit system. You can watch that video. All right. Comfortability is about to go bye-bye. Hey, it's all through the spirit, man. Okay. These people are catching it. And you can tell, especially these Edomites, these crackers, man. Hey, they're fucking suffering. All right. Kahalayim la Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah for that. Because, hey, they was living, in, matter of fact, get that precept. They was living not in troubles. All right, they're not troubled as other ones, even though it's talking about the elites ultimately, but also the descendants of Esau Edom have that had that same mind frame, especially during the glory years or the prime years of Babylon the Great. All right, them living it up by the way of generational wealth off of the backs of the slaves, man. After the blood of the slaves. All right, the great slaughtering of the slaves, so on and so forth. So this is Psalm 73, and I'm going to start at 1. I'm going to read it all in the NLT. It says, truly power of God, Yahweh, is good to Israel, to those whose hearts are pure. But as for me, I almost lost my footing. My feet were slipping, and I was and I was almost gone. For I envied the proud when I saw them prosper despite their wickedness. And that's Esau, Edom, especially the elites. All right, because they're still in that ruling, prosperous state. All right, living it up, making the American people suffer, ultimately making the whole earth to suffer. All right, because they're in control of the whole entire planet Earth. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. All right, he covereth the faces and the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And that's Esau, Edom, starting off with the 1%ers. All right, the banking families, which majority of the people know. All you got to do is do a Google research. The information is there. All right, and they have videos about the elites on how they established the whole world. All right, and Jackal's Island and so on and so forth. The Federal Reserve note going back to, I believe, 1913 and so on and so forth. Verse 4, they seem to live such painless lives. Their bodies are healthy and strong. They do not have troubles like other people. They are not plagued with problems like everyone else. All right. And that's true. They are not plagued like other men. They don't, catch as much hell, especially financially. Just like dealing with the gas prices, you have certain people that say that, all right, that, you got certain leaders of the earth that don't have to worry about, spending money on gas or, worry about inflation because they're surpassed that. They're over that. They're the ones that created the high gas prices, the inflations, soon going to be hyperinflation, so on and so forth. They're the ones that created all these problems. All right. And that's part of their MO. All right. A memo. Problem, reaction, solution. They cause the problem to see the reaction of the people, and then they're going to come with a solution. All right. Polycrisis, that what's going on now. And it's all through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. The Lord controls both good side and evil. All right. And you do have individuals that causes the double F. All right. Black Swan events. You can look that definition up. All right. To further infiltrate their enterprise. Let me just say that, to infiltrate their plans. But because of the Lord being in control, and according to the scriptures, Job 20:22, all right, that he's going to be in straits. And as soon as he's about to fulfill that NWO, the Lord is going to rain down great wrath, all right, upon him. Matter of fact, let me get that. Job 20. Like I said, it's just something through the spirit. I know I'm all over, so. Job 20:20, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall fall upon him. All right, Esau, Edom is going to be in straits, and every hand of the wicked going into, mainly of the heathen nations and also of our people, but mainly the heathen nations. All right, that's why you're having so much of the uproars of the people. All right, people are fed up and, just tired of the wicked rulership of Esau, Edom. All right. And that's just the truth. All right. You seeing what's going on in the planet Earth. All right. And not only the whole earth, Babylon the Great, because the average American person, mainly Esau, are waking up to the fact that their government is against them. All right, that you have a 1%er of a people that's ruling the entire planet Earth, that's causing all these troubles and chaos. All right. So, hey, we're definitely at that time, man. Let me get Isaiah. It's Isaiah 13 and 6. NLT, scream in terror, for the day of the Lord has arrived, the time for the Almighty to destroy. Every arm is paralyzed with fear, every heart melts, and people are terrified. Pangs of anguish grips them like those of a woman in labor. They look helplessly at one another, their faces aflame with fear. And that's what's coming. All right. These people think they're catching hell now. Just wait till all hell break loose. Wait till anarchy is really truly in the streets. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, verses 1-3. All right. Though in the 3rd verse, though it tarry, wait for it will surely come. It will not tarry. All right. Because all these things that's going on in the world ultimately is going to lead to the second mighty return of who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, which true name is Yahweh Shai. He's going to come with the mighty glory of the angels. Matthew 24, verses 29-31. All right. He's going to come with the chariots, and he's going to come with the nuclear destruction. All right. And even before that, it's going to be civil war, anarchy in the streets. All right. People getting deleted left or right. Ezekiel 9 and 5-6. All right. Let's read that. And I want to get also Isaiah 66. Ezekiel 9 and verse 5. And to the others, I'll read verse 4. And the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark. And that mark in the Hebrew is Thawab or Tawab, upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And those are the ones that's crying out against Babylon the Great. They're crying out against the hands of the wicked. All right, having that righteous spirit upon them. Okay. And ultimately, that's the humble, fearful elect. All right, starting off with the men, of course. And then you have certain of the women. All right, very few, but them being the weaker vessel, you know, you just got to have that man to lead you, because at the end of the day, that's how the Lord created you. Whether you women, you know, want to believe it or not, you women were created to be led by a man and to reprocreation, if I'm saying it right, basically to give us children. All right, being fruitful and multiply. All right, that is a role of a woman, not to be teaching, because the scriptures say that you ought not to teach, but to learn in silence from your husband. All right. So that's the only way a woman really truly can get close to God, if she have a God-fearing man or husband herself, ultimately a man of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. A man of the Lord. Verse 5, and to the others he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city of Jerusalem. No, through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any one man, Salakia, come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men, which were before the house. All right, the leaders. All right, false prophets. It began at them. 1 Peter 4 and 17. Judgment must begin at the house of God. And the ones that's of the house of God is the house of Israel. All right. The only ones that the Lord cared about and loved really and truly. OK, the Lord don't love everybody. He don't care about every nation, so on and so forth. He barely cares about, the 2/3 of his own people, even though they're going to return back in the kingdom of heaven. All right. So on and so forth. But on this side, they got to perish. Let's get Isaiah 66 and 15 and 16. Verse 15, for behold, the Lord Yahweh will come with fire, and his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Verse 16, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. The Lord is going to destroy a lot of people. All right. And that's the future, especially coming upon Babylon the Great. All right. Back in Isaiah 13, chapter 13 and verse 9, NLT. For see, the day of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, is coming, the terrible day of his fury and fierce anger. The land will be made desolate, and all the sinners destroyed with it. All right. Speaking about his people. And that also Amos 9 and verse 8 through 10. All right. For all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. That right quick. Amos 9. I'll get straight to the point in 10. It says, NLT, Amos 9 and 10, but all the sinners will die by the sword, and all those who say nothing bad will happen to us. All right. Woe to you that desire the day of the Lord as well. All right. Amos 5 and 18. For what end is it for you? It is, darkness and not light. All right. Because people don't know or comprehend how terrible the day of the Lord actually is going to be. All right. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So all the sinners of the Lord's people is going to die by the sword, according to prophecy, according to the Bible. And it's going to be by the way of many plagues upon the earth. So let's go to Matthew 24. And 6. And you will hear of wars and threats of wars, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. And that's why we're hasting in the coming of the day of our Lord, because we know at the end of the day, when all these things come to pass and when all these things happen, the Lord is doing this to, destroy the heathens, destroy this rulership, this kingdom, ultimately to bring us to salvation and righteousness through the salvation of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, which is going to come by the way of nuclear destruction and the chariots. All right. And ultimately us being in the kingdom of heaven, dwelling within righteousness. All right. Hastening the day, as it say in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter and verse 12. OK, so when we see these things and hear these things, all right, we ought not to fear, even though, yes, you're going to go through the motions and everything like that. But you got to realize and understand that this is all for the greater good. Like I always say in my video, this is all for the great purpose of salvation towards the Lord's chosen people. We're not going to be at the bottom no more. We're not going to be subject to payments. We're not going to suffer. We're not going to die after all this, overpass. All right. As it say in Isaiah 26 and 20. All right. Matter of fact, let me get that right quick. Like I said, I'm just reading precepts, man. Cause this is the hope. This is the things that we hope for. All right, these are the things that we want to happen and come to pass, so we can be living in all righteousness in the kingdom of heaven. Isaiah 26:20, come my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. All right. Verse 21, for behold, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth shall be disclosed, also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. All right, judgment day is going to happen. No more the earth is going to be in wickedness. All right, bloodshed, so on and so forth. And the Lord is going to rescue his elect by putting them in those chambers, aka the chariots, in order to keep them safe from the indignation that's going to happen. Back in Matthew 24 and verse 7, nation will go to war against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in many parts of the world. And it also says pestilence in that KJV. All right, you got the future famines that's coming, dealing with the stores, dealing with the fertilizers. All right, dealing with food supply chains and so on and so forth, gasolines, because if they don't got the gasolines like that for the trucks to deliver to these stores, how are you going to get your food? All right, because like I said, I work in retail, and we get a grocery truck every 3 days out the week, 3 days out of the week. All right, and then it's crazy because you have the average prepper or the average American that talks about these stores only hold between 3 to 5 days worth of food, not even months. All right, because they get certain shipments in. All right. And, that's just how they operate, which is the truth. So just imagine when all the stores shut down, everything's going to shit, and you go to your local store and you're down to the last bit of the food, or there's no more food at all. That's going to cause all types of hell and chaos and destruction towards these people. All right. Earthquakes in many parts of the world, but all this is only the first of the birth pains, with more to come. Yeah, man, it's gonna get terrible, man. It's gonna get terrible. Let's get 2nd Ezra. I'm about to close out in a few. Lord will, I'll do another part of this, because this is a lot. This is what's going on. All right, prophecy, destruction. Let's get that 2nd Ezra 6 right quick. Second Ezra chapter 6. Matter of fact, let's see if I can get it in the GNT, even though we're going to read something differently. It says the signs of the end. Second Ezra 6:22. Planted fields will suddenly become bare, and full barns will suddenly become empty. Then the trumpet will sound, and sudden fear will grip the heart of everyone when they hear it. All right. And that's going into basically destruction. All right. When all hell breaks loose, when people finally, when that shit really hits them, a lot of people are going to bug the hell out. They're already bugging out and crashing out now. All right. So how much more when this, economy defaults? All right. When they say that the money is worth nothing. Now you have to be introduced with a digital ID, all right, which they're going to ultimately put inside you via the MOTB, Revelation 13 and 16, which we're, still standing on that through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. All right, that's Bible prophecy. I'm going to read it in the KJV. 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And the trumpet shall give a sound which, when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. Good precept for that. Amos 3 and verse 6. And back in the GNT, verse 24, friends will fight like enemies, and the earth and its people will be terrified. Damn. Rivers will stop flowing and stand still for 3 hours. Those who survive all these things that I have predicted will be rescued when I bring to an end this world that I created. They will see those who never died but were taken up alive into heaven. The hearts and minds of people on earth will be changed. All right. Those ones that never died and being taken up alive into heaven, those are the elect. That's the deliverance and the salvation of, the ones that escape to death. Verse 25, KJV, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. All right, the end of Esau's Edom world. All right, as it say in the upper couple of verses, verse 9. All right, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Back at 26. And the men that were received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth, and the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning. For evil shall be put out and deceit shall be quenched. All right. And at the end of the day, the Lord is bringing out evil. That's why all these things are happening. The love of many waxing cold, going back to Matthew 24 and 12. Sin will be rampant everywhere and the love of many will grow cold. All right. That's why you have so much, meaningless killings. All right. Just random killings for no reason. All right. Unalivings and so on and so forth. Salakia, due to YouTube and shit. Many people, unaliving themselves, unaliving family members. All right. Just for the simple fact they can't take it no more. The mirth of the land is gone, pursuing the Isaiah, the 24th chapter in verse 10. All right. This shit is over with. Jeremiah 51 and 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. So at the end of the day, this place is not going to be healed, man. It's not going to get better. You people that keep trusting in Babylon, hey, you're going to be destroyed with it. All right, pursuing the Isaiah, the 30th chapter, verse 1 through 3, and also Isaiah, the 31st chapter, verse 1, and also verses 1 through 3, if I'm not mistaken. Jeremiah 51 and 9, NLT, we would have helped her if we could, but nothing can save her now. Nothing can save America. Let her go, abandon her, return now to your own land, for her punishment reaches to the heavens. It is so great it cannot be measured. Yeah, it's over, man. It is over. And for the people, hey, go back to your own land. That's why a lot of people are going back to their own lands. All right, it was a mass exodus that was going on. People leaving the states, Babylon the Great. You even got passport bros. You got certain American families that moved to other countries for so-called quote-unquote better living. All right. And either way, especially you being Israel, you still going to catch hell no matter where you go. You can't escape the curses. All right. And for the ones that escape, hey, I guess you trying to escape that. And that's how ultimately that they know something is wrong with this place. Something bad is going to happen sooner than later. All right. They're afraid. And now that the prophet's on the scene, they're more afraid, because in the back of their mind, I know they're thinking, what if these crazy niggas are right? What if these bums are right? Everything that they've been speaking and saying has come to pass in some type of shape, form, or fashion. All right. So what if they are speaking truth? What if it is the truth, which it is? All right. The things that we're speaking is the truth. But to the average American that think like this, that think otherwise, now they're seeing, the latter end of it. And the latter end is not good, ultimately. So this place is not going to be healed. Hold that. Let me get Luke right quick. Trying to see which one I'm going to read. Luke 21:9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Verse 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilence, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. All right. That's why you have the disclosure of so-called UFOs, which we know them as the chariots of God. That's why you're having, NASA. It was a couple years back when NASA had that footage of a gigantic ship. All right. I think it said about the size of Earth or something like that. Basically, a big gigantic ship out there in the heavens just cruising. All right, and they caught it on the NASA feed, and then they had to to get rid of it. All right. A lot of secrets are being revealed in the times that we're living in. And why is that? Because Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is about to visit the world, man. He's about to make his second return. It's 2nd Ezra 9 and verse. Also get Luke 21 in here. Second Ezra 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which we are seeing. All right. Verse 4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. All right. And that's what's going on. The Lord is showing us the signs, us that have the spiritual eyes of seeing and the spiritual ears of hearing. All right. We're seeing all these things that's going on in the world. It's a sign of the great return of Yahweh Shai, man, who the world English called Jesus Christ. Okay. So that was that on that. Let's get read Luke 21:9 in the NLT. And when you hear of wars and insurrections, do not panic. Yes, these things must take place first, but the end won't follow immediately. Then he added, nations will go to war against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, and there will be famines and plagues in many lands. Slakia. And there will be terrifying things and great miraculous signs from heaven. But before all these occur, there will be a time of great persecution. You will be dragged into synagogues and prisons, and you will stand trial before kings and governors because you are my followers. But this will be your opportunity to tell them about me. All right, and that's going to happen too, all through the Spirit. You know, we're going to be persecuted for the testimony of Yahweh Shai. All right, we're all going to get tested in many ways. All right, being persecuted, being thrown into prisons. Revelation 2:10, Revelation 3:10. All right. These things are happening. People going to get dragged up out their houses. 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, the 15th chapter. All right. It's the A. We are living in the end. So prepare yourselves, man. Verse 14. So don't worry in advance about how to answer the charges against you, for I will give you the right words and such wisdom that none of your opponents will be able to reply or refute you. Even those closest to you, your parents, brothers, relatives, and friends will betray you. They will even kill some of you. All right, and that going to a video that Elder Manat the Zappa did. Going to that GMS South. Dealing with the AI. It says the mark, the prophecy that will break up families. All right. And that's the truth. Especially, you know, us been telling our people throughout the years, giving them that warning. And now when it comes to pass, they're going to have someone to blame. And that most of that blaming, all right, is going to be towards the prophets, the men of the Lord. And, you know, our family members know what we're about. And even like co-workers, you know, friends, so on and so forth. Hell, even certain brothers in the truth, is fucked up and harsh as it sounds. That's what's going to happen as well, too. All right. Then you shall know who is my chosen. And that's why we have to keep praying until Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that he give us that spirit in order to stay strong. All right. And to stay loyal. All right. To stay loyal to his words, to his prophecy. And if it has to happen like that, shit, hey, lift your head up high and take it, you know, with cheer, man. Be joyful. OK, because at the end of the day, that's going to be the end of our captivity. We're not going to catch hell no more, ladies and gentlemen. All right, of the hopeful potential elect, we're not going to catch hell no more, man. So let's continue on. Verse 17, everyone will hate you because you are my followers, but not a hair of your head will perish. By standing firm, you will win your souls. All right, being patient. All right, even dying for the Lord, you still have a great reward. All right, and that's another thing people got to understand, because a lot of people think, and that's also going back, I believe, in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. You know, we died for no reason. We died, you know, trusting in a God that was not going to pay us with, you know, being redeemed or anything like that. Oh, I thought you was the chosen one. I thought you were supposed to be saved. And in all actuality, like I said, man, no matter what, if you die in the Lord or whether you live with the Lord, you still winning. We're automatically gotten the victory, especially us in this truth and this knowing. All right. because the Lord gave us this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding by the grace and mercies. All right. So let's jump down. Verse 25, and there will be strange signs in the sun, moon, and stars. All right, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. All right, a different lining up of the constellations, so on and so forth. And here on earth, the nations will be in turmoil, perplexed by the roaring sea and strange tides. People will be terrified at what they see coming upon the earth, for the powers in heavens will be shaken. All right, the rulership is going to be shaken up. That everyone will see the Son of Man coming on a cloud with power and great glory. So when all these things begin to happen, stand and look up, for your salvation is near. And that's the beautiful part, man. Salvation is close. All right. And everybody going to see Lord Yahweh Shai coming in that cloud. 2nd Ezra 13th chapter. Like I said, Matthew 24. Let's get that again. Salakin 29. I started at 30. I started at 29. Immediately after the anguish of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. Ultimately, those stars falling from the sky goes into nuclear destruction. All right, and the sun and moon gonna be darkened physically and you know, spiritually, dealing with the wisdom. All right, the wisdom of this world, what people think that they know the whole time. Hey, they were living in a lie. All right, the Lord is gonna put an end to all that. Verse 30, and then at last the sign that the Son of Man is coming will appear in the heavens, and there will be deep mourning among all the peoples of the earth, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds, or with the host of the clouds of heaven, with power and great glory. And that's the chariots of the Most High Yahweh. All right, because Lord Yahweh Shai is going to come on that father ship, that massive ship, also dealing, going to the precept of Revelation 1 and 7. Then it reads, and he will send out his angels, 31, send out his angels with the mighty blast of a trumpet, and they will gather his chosen ones from all over the world, from the farthest ends of the earth and heaven. All right, that's what's going to happen. Finish off in Luke 21. I'm going to close. Verse 36 says, keep alert at all times and pray that you might be strong enough to escape these coming horrors and stand before the Son of Man, because that's what's coming. Horrors, terrors, all right, coming upon this land. We're not making this shit up. Not to say it like that. We're not making nothing up. We keep telling you people, keep telling you people. It's bound to happen. All right. So with that, I'm going to close out, giving all praise, glory, honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekakwadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles, a great millstone that teach us his truth. Peace, love, and blessings to the elect scattered around the four corners of earth, mainly in Babylon the Great. Till next time, Shalom.